Hi everyone, it's Nate Piekos of Blambot and welcome to Lettering Live. Today I thought I'd talk to you about the two versions of the letter I in mainstream comics dialogue. So I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't at least include this in an episode of Lettering Live, even though it's something that's so commonly talked about. You've probably heard of it before, but if you haven't, here you go. So we've got two versions of the letter I in mainstream comics. We have the barred I, which is a slash with the bars at the top and the bottom. And we have the slash I, which is obviously just a slash. So the barred I is used for personal pronouns like I'll, I've, I'd. And some letterers will use it for initializations, acronyms, and Roman numerals like FBI and World War II here. But I mean, personally, I don't, but some letterers do. So professionally made comic book dialogue fonts include both versions of the I. So if you want the barred I, you'd be pressing the Shift and I together, just sort of as if you'd consider it the capital I key or keystroke. And the slash I is just the lowercase I key. And the slash I is used for basically every other version of the letter of I except for personal pronouns and occasionally initializations, acronyms, and Roman numerals. So let's take a look at some examples. So this is correct. You'll notice that the slash I is everywhere except for the personal pronouns, which have the barred I, like this I'll and this I hanging out here at the end, personal pronouns. Everywhere else it's a slash, like think, shield, this. And let's look at an incorrect one. So I'm not sure why, but when people letter comics for the first time and they've got their first comic book font, their brain tells them that, oh, comics are all lettered in all caps and I should mash on my Shift key or turn on the caps lock and just start typing. And as I said, the Shift I, if you've got your caps lock on or your Shift pressed down, is going to pop up everywhere, and that's incorrect. So you'll see the barred I is everywhere. It's in the word time and shield and think, and it's in the pronouns. And if you're an aspiring letterer and you're looking for work professionally at, say, Marvel and DC, and your portfolio looks like this, it's basically a red flag that you haven't done your homework. And this is like day one, first class lettering 101 kind of stuff. So be aware of that. Also incorrect is not having the barred I anywhere. So your personal pronouns just have the slash, like this I'll, this I hanging out at the end. And we do this, well, if you ask people who are more in the know than I am about comics history and lettering history in particular, I think most of them will tell you that this came about because of poor print quality back in the day. So think about all your old comics with the lousy newsprint quality paper. Misprints were common. And if all of your personal pronouns were just a slash I hanging out with spaces around it, the chances that that becomes illegible due to a misprint or something is pretty high. So I think a lot of letterers started to use the barred I for the personal pronoun for just that reason. There's less of a chance that this gets lost during bad printing. Let's see, and when did this start coming about? I'm guessing it started to firm up in the 60s. If you look at, say, Fantastic Four #1, I think that came out in 61. That was lettered by Artie Simic. And you can see this already a standard in that Marvel book in 61. Although I think Artie Simic at this point was still using the barred I for any word that started a sentence. But, you know, at this point in the 60s, it's a little inconsistent. In the 70s, it starts to become even more common. And by the 80s, this is standard practice in Marvel and DC. You know, every time I bring this up, this whole topic of the two I's and the special one that goes somewhere, there's always this sort of bizarre, oppositionally defiant pushback, like, oh, I'm not going to do that. That's stupid. That's some sort of, you know, mainstream thing. And if you're just doing your own comics and you're doing small press or self-published, do whatever you want. Nobody's forcing you to do this. But if you want to get work in mainstream comics, you're going to be expected to do this properly every time, pretty much. So let's talk about some modern updates on this. So technologically, we have a thing now that we can program into fonts called contextual alternates and auto ligatures. And these are little bits of code that sort of run quietly in the background of your fonts that can make all kinds of fun things happen. And one of the things you'll see for professional comic font designers is that we've programmed auto ligatures and contextual alternates to place the eyes where they should go automatically as you're typing or copying and pasting from your scripts. So if you see like this inside an aisle, I'll just copy this over here. I'll zoom way in. I'm going to delete this. Now let's say I've got a balloon that begins with the word inside. So I start typing and I'm holding my shift key. Now contextual alternates and auto ligatures are turned on for this font. And you'll notice because I was holding the shift key, I got the barred I, which would be fine if this was the personal pronoun I, but it's going to be the word inside. So still holding the shift key, I'll type the rest of the word and you'll see that barred I turn into the /I. See that? It's correcting things, even though I'm typing it incorrectly. And here's I'll see that goes incorrect. That goes correctly as well. So not every font has this. If you're looking to buy professional level comic fonts, make sure you're keeping an eye out. The descriptions on the pages where they're being sold will generally say that it has these features. And to turn them on, because you can turn them on and turn them off. If you buy a font with this feature and you don't want to use it, you can shut it off. So here in Illustrator, if we go up here to the top right corner, see the open type window? It's got these buttons here at the bottom. And these buttons, if I click on it, you'll see this first button is standard ligatures. The second one is contextual alternates. And if it has other things, you can turn on the other things like fractions. And you can turn them on and off just by clicking those buttons. So that's pretty much it. I mean, if you want to read more about this, if you have my book, The Essential Guide to Comic Book Lettering, it's on page 46. And that's all I've got for you today. So I hope if you didn't know this, you've learned something useful. I will talk to you later. Thanks for watching.